So today we're going to be making one of my favorite dishes, shrimp and grits. It's going to have a little southern flair to it. It'll have some andouille sausage, some bell peppers, some Vidalia onions. It'll be over some cheddar cheese grits, and then we're going to garnish it with some bias cut scallions. As always, we'll have the recipe written down on paper as well as the ingredients on the bottom and then the QR code at the top that will take you straight to this video. You will receive a half of a red pepper, half of a Vidalia onion, 1 yellow tomato, a couple scallions. This is grits, some cheddar cheese, andouille sausage. There's 6 shrimp in here that are 16-20 in size with the tail on. And a spice mix, some pure ground white pepper, some kosher salt, a little bit of butter, and a garlic clove. First, we're gonna get our grits going. Grits ratio to water or ratio to other liquid is gonna be a 4-to-1 ratio. So we're gonna measure out 4 times the amount of grits that we have in here. So we're just gonna pour this out for now so that we can use the vessel. And then we're going to just measure about the same level 4 times. And then we're gonna get that on the stove and bring that up to a simmer. Let's get our scallions cut first. This is gonna be our garnish for the top of the dish. You can cut scallions straight across, but what I like to do is turn the knife at a bias angle and go really thin and get elongated pieces. And I use all the way down to the very bottom. So find where the bottom has been trimmed. That's gonna keep it all intact at this base. You wanna line your knife up and hold your hand above it so you're not gonna cut yourself. And do it again on the next level. And again, I'm not going all the way through each time. So I've stopped right about here each time. This way as well. And again, you can see the tip is not going all the way down. We're gonna keep stirring it. And we're gonna turn down the heat just a little bit. I wanna cook it this way for about 5 minutes. Next is gonna be the pepper. Whenever you take the top out of a pepper, you always wanna put your thumb and indent it in and push out, so that way you have no waste. So what we'll do is lay it as flat as we can. And then same thing. Now the tomato, we'll just take out that top portion. And then we're gonna cut that about the same size. Now we're gonna chop the garlic. So we just wanna take off that base there. And you really wanna keep chopping this until it's nice and minced. And what I find, if I really wanna get it into a paste almost, is to salt it a little bit with some kosher salt to give it some grittiness. And then turn your knife sideways and just press down on the board. And do that a couple of times and it'll get it really fine and again, almost into a paste. Last thing we'll need our board for is the sausage. So we're just gonna cut that in half again. And this is andouille sausage, so it's gonna have a little bit of spice to it. Now our grits are getting nice and creamy. They've been cooking for about 5 minutes. We're gonna go ahead and add our cheese. We don't wanna add all the cheese because we wanna save some for a garnish. We're also gonna season it up with salt, and we're gonna use white pepper. And it's a starchy substance, so it's gonna take a pretty good amount of seasoning. So just taste it once you get it all mixed in. Now let's get the vegetables going with a little bit of oil. And we're gonna put in the Vidalia onions, the peppers, and we'll do the sausage as well. So we don't want to put the tomatoes in yet just because there's a lot of moisture. In this pan, we'll start the shrimp. So the shrimp I put in the kit comes with tail on, but what I did is I pulled off the tails I don't like to put something in a dish that is not edible. It's called a non-functional garnish. So in the dishes that I make, I want everything to be edible. If you prefer to keep the tails on, that's absolutely fine. It's whatever your preference is. Once the butter is nice and hot, we'll put in the shrimp. Once the vegetables are nice and tender, we're gonna add our tomatoes. And we're gonna flip the shrimp. Now we're gonna add the cream to the vegetables. And we're gonna reduce that down to nappe, which means it can coat the back of a spoon, so it's gonna thicken up on us a little bit. Now that this cream is thickening up a little bit, we're gonna add some of that spice mix. We're also gonna season it up with a little kosher salt and some more pepper. And now with the shrimp, we'll add that garlic. And we'll also season that up with some salt and some pepper. The only reason I'm doing the shrimp separate is so that I can get good color on them, and then I can present them on top of the sauce. So now before you plate up, make sure everything's seasoned how you want it. If you want to put a little more spice into the andouille pepper and onion mixture, by all means you can. We're gonna put some grits right in the center. And we're gonna kind of make a well. And we'll spoon in some of this andouille and vegetable mixture. And then we'll place these shrimp around the perimeter. We'll put a little more cheese right on top, and then as many scallion threads as you would like.